Right,
They very quick, like if they ever get to use Birthing Pod, instead of just getting great value, they generally within a turn are able to win the game from any position.
Yeah, so we see here Brian Liu on the left, Oscar Jones on the right. And
looks like Oscar Jones has Linvala in play, which is a very, very powerful permanent in this matchup. Most importantly, it shuts down the Deceiver Exarch Kiki Jiki combo or the Restoration Angel Kiki Jiki combo. But it also shuts down a few minor plays like Glenowender Archmage if it comes to that, Scavenging Ooze, Kasali Pride Mage, you know, a variety of things like that. Well, at the same time, being a dominated board presence. 3-4 is much bigger than most creatures that Brian Liu is going to be able to produce.
Yeah, so recap what we have on the board. Brian Liu on the left, he's playing Kiki Pod. He's on 4 lands with a Deceiver Exarch and Wall of Roots, but 17 life. But on the right, Oscar Jones has landed one of the trumps in the matchup, one of the more important cards. First of all, he has Birthing Pod, maybe the most important card. And second, he has Linvala, Keeper of Silence in play. That's one of also the most powerful cards in the matchup.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, game 1, I mean, this is game 2, but game 1, Linvala is just often game winning because of the lack of cards like Shriekmaw out of Brian Liu's Kiki Pod deck. Now, after sideboard, he has access to things like, most importantly, 3-Path Exiles, but possibly Combust, depending on which way he wanted to take the matchup. Even Fiery Justice is a possibility because Fiery Justice will often sweep all of Oscar Jones' creatures, but in this case, it would hit Linvala, which is an important, important stopper.
Yeah, so we see Brian Liu, though, able to keep up so far. He's going to go ahead and make a Restoration Angel here. And yeah, you're right. He does have to, I think he has to find an answer to Linvala. I don't think it's reasonable to win through Linvala.
Oh, this is interesting. Is he going to Restoration Angel the Deceiver Exarch, tap the Birthing Pod just so that he can't even use it?
So this is during Oscar's upkeep. It can deny Oscar off a pod.
No, this is in response to a Viserys here.
This is in response, so to Viserys. Viserys is on the stack.
Yep.
Okay, so that's actually not in play yet. You saw there on the left, Fiery Justice. That's one of the, you mentioned that as one of Brian Liu's possible removal spells out of the sideboard. A pretty efficient, Flames of the Firebrand. It deals, for a very specific mana cost, it's 5 damage divided among creatures and players.
So this looks like a Dismember on the Deceiver Exarch, making sure that that Birthing Pod will actually have an opportunity to be activated.
Yeah, Dismember puts Oscar down to 12. He's going to go ahead and pod away Viserys.
What's he looking for? I mean, the default is always Voice of Resurgence, but he does take Spellskite. Because we're after sideboard. The Spellskite ensures that that we have a second layer of defense to make sure that Linvala is protected and to make sure the Kiki combo doesn't go off.
Yeah, so Spellskite helps to defend there. I know one of the things that you can do in this matchup is that you can just keep potting a lot of your combo pieces into the graveyard and then eventually Revelark out the combo. And Brian with a very pinpoint answer to that Linvala. It's going to be a Combust that you can't actually Spellskite that.
Absolutely. That's one of the big advantages to Combust is that it can't be Spellskited.
Yeah.
That's like the old, when people used to use Go for the Throat, specifically so that it couldn't get redirected by Spellskite.
Yeah, so we go back to Oscar's turn. That Birthing Pod is untapped for him. He has 1 card remaining. It is a Chord of Calling. Both players with Gavany Township in play as well. So if either player can get enough more creatures on the board, that player can start aggroing. And I'm wondering how much, can you be on the aggro plan, or is he still trying to combo the other guy? And I feel like it can be pretty back and forth.
I mean, so Oscar has a temporary advantage here that he really needs to press. He's got Spellskite, meaning he's at least 1 layer protected from the combos, and he's got Birthing Pod. He doesn't have a good creature to sack yet, and so that's what he's going to have to do with his Chord is figure out what is the creature I want to Chord to just to sack. The obvious first answer is Eternal Witness or Kitchen Finks, something that costs 3 that will give him value when he sacrifices it immediately.
Yeah. One thing of note, Oscar's at 7, so life points are not irrelevant this game. Going down to 6 to fetch here, with Restoration Angel in play, that is not very much damage.
No, that's a 2-turn clock. So whatever 4-drop he goes to get needs to be informed that this is what's happening. Oh, is he going to actually sack the Spellskite?
Yeah, it
seems very bold.
First pod activation. Without a Linvala to protect, Spellskite no longer necessary here. He's going to go get an Eternal Witness. And he wants Linvala back.
Okay,
and he's going to go ahead and cast her.
As long as he ends the turn with some sort of a disruption in play. Now, and this one actually can block Restoration Angel.
Well,
Gavany Township.
Gavany Township, yeah. And look, I think Brian has this here. It's Zealous Conscripts. That off the top will steal Linvala, 6 damage in the air. And Brian Liu 2-0 defeats Oscar Jones, moving on to the finals.
Man.
out of the pod side of the bracket in 4 quick games, Brian Liu with Kiki Pod defeats all the Malira pods.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons